fuck, Mike, dude!
What?
I lost
What?
power. It's the fucking storm, man. Bad storm. Bad
Oh.
storm. Sorry, man. I am sorry about that. But we are back. We're letting people join back in. Dude, that fucking was enjoying that story, man. God damn. You know, you as a dad, man, I could only imagine. You know, as far as how you handle things and all the things, you know, because you've been through the shit. As far as you know, your musical career, everything, and just the teachable moments, dude. Like I just wanted to go back to that because that's, yeah, dude. I mean, being a fucking dad. But you were saying the first time you were holding your baby girl, there was no feeling like it.
Right.
No feeling in the world.
You make those connections, all those, you know, all those genetics. They start popping.
Little you, man.
Well, yeah, right, and that's exactly why it's mind blowing. So I was saying, like, I look at my kids sometimes, and you know, I could see me in them, or like I'll do something, I'll move a certain way, or I'll make a certain face, or emote in a certain way, and I could feel my child. You know, each one of them separately, dependent, you know, on what I'm doing.
Yeah,
and
dude.
that's what that's what happens. So.
I fucking love that. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking nuts, man. You know, I feel like, you know, when I finally, I'm horrified. That's number one.
It's scary.
Terrified.
Sure, it's a scary thing.
You know, the world we live in is a very strange fucking place. You know, it is, it's nonstop. Like I said, these people didn't even know me, and they were calling me a fucking Nazi. I don't even think they know what that fucking term is. It's crazy. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Man. But, before, you know, we're finished up with a few more questions here, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, Mike. But, so as far as this political stuff goes, man, are you gonna, do you think you'll be able to separate it from your music career? I mean, because your tunes, at least your old school ones, because I've listened to I listen to all your stuff, man. Your old school ones, you know, you're not fucking bashing government or nothing like that. At least I haven't fucking noted. It's not like Black Flag or some type of, you know, where it's aggressive. Right. It's just enough aggressive, dude. I always say, you know, you're like Ozzy, fuck the punk rock guru, and you're the love child of it, man. And that's you know, Ozzy Osbourne, punk rock child, boom. You fucking went in, and then you got Graves, and you got the voice, and it's just, oh my god. But do you ever think you'll be able to separate it, man?
Well, the only place that it's really not separated is here in America, and the only place that it is a touchy thing is within the communities that I don't want to say that I don't care about, but like if I'm not punk enough for the punk rock community, that's fine. I'm not trying to define punk rock. I'm not saying that I am punk rock or not. It's not like that. I came up in the hardcore scene anyway. I wasn't part of the punk scene, but that's right. So it is separated again. Like I don't sing about it. I don't go out on stage and say anything about it. It becomes a part of everything when things like this happen, and you know, it's just like other things. I don't. You know, there's certain parts of my life that are just not private, but they just don't go. They're just not put out there. You know, and
well, all right, maybe I guess a better question would be, do you think people can ever separate?
I think that people already do, because when I go to different countries,
like
there's
Mexico
a whole different thing going on.
That was a good show. I watched that one too.
Other than, you know, the European Union, America, the rest of the world is good to go.
This gentleman said, "Saw you at the Whiskey. Badass show."
That was a great show.
Yeah, man.
Great show. See that? Los Angeles, in the middle of Los Angeles, and it was a fantastic show. So what's going on here? There's something going on. Like the people that are very angry and they're being vocal about things and they're throwing their hands up and freaking out I don't think that they would probably come to a Michael Graves show even if this wasn't going on, and that's cool. That's fine.
Right.
Maybe they would. Maybe some would. They would see the Misfits connection, and if there wasn't anything that was triggering them, they'd maybe come and check it out, and probably have a really fucking magical time. So there's something in the way, and it's important to understand.
Like, did they ever follow through? Like, did they ever come actually out there and they protest? And
there's been a few instances.
Has it been like overly?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because a lot of the people that are protesting are not from the places that they're protesting. It's not like coming from a local thing. What just happened in Illinois, that was a local thing that happened, but that's really it's rare. That's rare. It's really broad over the internet, and people that want to remain anonymous. Like when I get crazy, like 90%, me probably even more, 95 to 98% of the email that I get are from emails that are immediately disassembled, after they send me whatever they send me. It's important to understand the phenomenon that's happening with me, because it's part of a larger thing that's happening. It really looks like my career is being ripped apart and torn away, because it's more dramatic. It's more dramatic when you kind of just zero in on just this one thing that's happening.
Right.
And I'm sort of doing that in a way because it's getting attention on me then being able to tell my story, like, for example, through American Prayer, and to kind of catch people up. I'm not going to catch everybody up that are saying these hateful things to me. Maybe there's a couple I can get to that will see a snippet of me talking or something. They'll say, all right, let me see what this asshole's saying.
Right.
And then they'll catch me and they'll be like, all right, maybe I don't like him still, but
you don't have to go out of your way to fucking call a venue. I mean, I got people right here. Yeah. Are you going to perform When We Were Angels at Punk in the Corn?
Yeah, sure.
That's a question. And then another one is, are you okay with sharing the stage with family, friends, and members of the LGBTQ plus community?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
of course.
I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of weirds me out when folks want to kind of figure out what's going on in the bedroom anyway. And I'm like, if you're that fucking wanting to get in there, maybe you just...
I'm not going to go home with you after the party or anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're not going to go out of your way.
Again, people forget some of the bands that I toured with and the type of person that I am. Again, like you indicate, I turn 50 next week, so I'm not the chipper young Michael Graves, but I don't have any problems with the way that people want to live their life. For years, I loved being part of a Rocky Horror Picture Show troupe that was local where I was living, and I love dressing up like Frankenfurter and doing the whole thing. I know that doesn't necessarily qualify me for any sort of transvestite thing, but what I'm saying is that for people that might think that, like, I'm one way, I'm some, like, I shouldn't say like hillbilly redneck white supremacist piece of shit, but maybe somebody thinks, maybe people think of me like that. It's definitely like, I'm a theater kid. I'm so different than all of these things that are being said. So back to, that's why it's important to understand this phenomenon, because for the people that do have their thinking caps on, it is a deeper dive into a new sort of thing that contributes to, or has contributed to, totalitarian regimes, like what happens psychologically, sort of the phenomenon that happened in, Salem, Massachusetts, why people, would gather Jews and put them in gas chambers, understanding the Soviet Union, understanding things like that, mass psychosis.
Just understanding history, that just history alone. Well, if you do your homework and you Sorry.
And the effect of propaganda has on masses of people individually and collectively, and why. And when you start to look into the why, it correlates with things like loneliness. It correlates with things like the use of technology, and like what we first started talking about, language and communication. It's why language and communication and talking with people and actually having conversations with one another, or actually going to a concert and listening to somebody play a guitar or a band playing, is so important. Like, all of these things are important for our evolution as a nation, as a species,
and
as
all together,
individuals.
right? I mean, to be honest, if America was, and I am, you know, if America was all just one color, dude, if it was all one color, and I'm saying, of course there's criminals, of course there's illegal people, of course there's people that, you know, if you do it right, awesome, but, you know,
Sure.
I believe that everyone belongs, man. You know, as far as,
Sure.
you know, if you're gonna preach fascism, you know what fascism is. You know, if you're gonna preach a judgment-free environment, saying that you can come to the show, you could dance, you could have a blast, why would they takes? Politician-wise, I think you're misunderstood on that front. But that doesn't mean to stop spreading your views and your beliefs and stand up for what you believe in, man. You know, nobody has the right to ever tell you not to. They don't, because that's literally the dictatorship type communist mentality. You know, but if but honestly, and correct me if I'm wrong, like a conservative / authoritarian type vibe, like, you know, you're like open. Maybe I said that. Libertarian, not authoritarian, libertarian. Excuse me. Sorry, totally different terms. Correct me.
I'm probably, you know,
but, you know,
I'm probably much more so of like a classic liberal, like a Thomas Jefferson.
With an open view. You know, but I feel like that's.
There's no authoritarianism in me.
I meant no. That was, don't even delete that term. That's not what I meant. I meant libertarian. I've been drinking a couple. You know, bear with me, all right? Like, Jesus, fuck, all right. But, you know. But yeah,
I'm probably more of like a classic Jeffersonian type liberal when you really start to drill me down on like policy stuff.
And do you think, like, what if you made a different Twitter that you posted your music on, just Graves music, and then you have your political Twitter where people can go follow your beliefs if that's what they believe in?
Like mind-changing things. Like now and then I'll post, you know, something that has to do with somebody that I know, or something that I'm affiliated, you know, with, or
right.
But I really keep it to, or at least I really try to keep it to music and the things that I'm doing. It's not like I'm weighing, I'm never weighing in on, you know, what's being talked about. You look at my Twitter, I never weigh in on you'll
reshare a post or whatever. Yeah, you'll reshare a post or whatever. But again, that's when it becomes misinterpreted. Right, you know, if it falls underneath, oh my God, it's on Graves' Twitter, and he said this, you know, that's what people, I feel like, you know.
Like there's always gonna be people. There's always gonna be somebody that has got something to say. There's always gonna be somebody. I'm not gonna make everybody happy, and that's the thing. Like, I know, like this. You know, if people think that, like, I'm at home and I'm just like laying on the ground, like, oh God, what am I gonna do? You know, that's definitely not it. I'm like I said, I'm really shining the light on this time, because even since the beginning of 2004, when this whole cancel Michael thing started, I was talking about, like, I came onto the scene, if you will, through conservative punk.
Yeah.
When Fat Mike made Punk Voter. Yeah. And I was saying, this is going to turn into violence on the street. And then the question was, why would you say such a thing? And then I went to, I answered that question.
It, but it's
and
it plays
so
both
I've been
ways, though.
shining a light on this and talking about these things for now 2 decades. And I always bring it back to, God gave me these gifts, music, art, to bring light into the world, and that is what I do. You shall know them by their fruits. So I'm a tree, and when you look at my fruits, that's who I am. I could get run over by the truck outside tomorrow, and my life is good. I know that. Again, I've done some things that we could probably laugh about, that, nobody's proud of everything, but
no, man.
I'm saying,
but you stand with your friends,
my fruit is good to go,
and you're loyal. That's it. If you're loyal, to friend, all I'm saying is that that's what it's painted as, and I wanted to get your opinion on it, and past the political shit. What's your favorite part of your musical career?
My favorite part of my musical career is the connection that I make with people. You never know what somebody's going through. And it is just a beautiful thing, and I thank God every time I say thank you, God. When I'm talking to somebody, whether they're in America, anywhere in the world, and they say such beautiful things to me that my music or the music of the Misfits has strengthened them, or it's given them the hope to do something, or has comforted them in times of pain. I've heard great, profound stories of the music that I've created, with and without the Misfits, along on some epic journeys, some incredible things happening in the world while the music was playing. And
does it get annoying that the Misfits are always attached to you?
Oh, no. And one of the things that made my Misfits so different was obviously, like we were talking about earlier, like you were saying, it was 2 very different times.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 very different individuals. For me, the Misfits, when I got into the band, it was like finding a UFO that crashed in the desert. And I disassembled it. I disassembled it by talking to as many people as I possibly could about the Misfits, with the exception of Glenn Danzig, which I wish I could, and listening to the music. I know every breath, every pop, every click, everything on everything that's ever been recorded, and just taking it all apart and saying why and how, and then putting it together, and then going forward with the band in the hopes that I was building something along with the other guys, building something that was better than what came before, but was in the same vein. It was the same sort of machine. It was brilliant to me. It blew my mind to think, all right, Danzig loved all these films, these old films, but he saw what he saw was the sociological reflection in the movie that the directors and the writers were trying to make.
That he could transfer into a tune,
Exactly. The things that he was saying, that society was saying, and that culture was saying. And he used colors that, monsters and ghosts and all the things that he used. And that was brilliant. That was brilliant to me. And that's what we tried to do with the Misfits,
And when the Misfits, when that was done, like afterwards, sorry, let me turn that up a little bit so you can hear me. What was the defining path for Michael Graves' music after the Misfits? When you separated from Famous Monsters, American Psycho, when you separate yourself from that, what was like the defining moment in your head where it's like, oh shit, I could actually do this on my fucking own. I sound pretty fucking good. I'm gonna go for it. What was that moment that led you into that?
Really that moment that I started heading, I guess, down that hill was all the way back when I wrote that song Mostly Alone. From then on, it was on. That's what I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I spent my time doing. I was constantly working for and towards that. I always knew that there would be opportunity for me. I wish I had played it different. The bills that I have to pay wouldn't be so difficult, I think. But
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 do
I've
you think
always
if you played it like different now that it would change anything? Like I don't know.
no, totally different, totally different, totally
Yeah.
different. And right now it's like I'm so far into the rabbit hole that like I'm baked in, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
can't get
There's
out.
no getting out.
I could seriously, and I could do like a 3-hour monologue on I'm sorry and throw everybody under the bus, and then at the end of it change my name to something different and become a woman. And I don't think that it would change. Like,
the hate is the hate, man, and it's
the hate is the hate.
it's
really
unfortunate. It is, but
and I know that it's not necessarily at me. I mean, it is at me, but it's at this idea of me. It's at this idea that I'm this thing that when people think Proud Boy or they think Trump or a Christian, Christ is my savior. I'm born again. Most important thing in my life is God. And it's not so. People think that that's wacky. Some people think that that's wacky. But I become the target of all of those things, and it's again, it's a phenomenon. It's a psychological phenomenon that's taking place, and it's fascinating, and it's frustrating and ridiculous.
Has it always been horror punk for you?
What do you mean?
Like, has it always been like? Have you always kind of gravitated towards that, like that darker punk style, or has it? Because I've heard your acoustic stuff, dude, and it's fucking like your albums.
Thanks.
Like when you listen to all of your stuff on your Spotify, dude, it's like a totally different, totally different artist each album, and it's like you're telling a story each time, and even the collaborations, it's different. You can tell it's you for sure, but it's different. And what has it always been? I know you said no, but what other genres did you kind of dip your toes into?
I've always, with the Misfits, I was certainly writing a certain way.
Well, of course, and you were trying to kind of transfer a little bit of what Danzig had going on, but you wanted to flip it a little bit and turn it into...
It's like being on a surfboard. I mean, you could kind of lean into any which way you want to kind of go, but people think that, like, I came into the Misfits like this punk rock kid, and I definitely was not...
You're like a Cro-Mac kid.
I wouldn't say that I was really anything. I was much more like what you would think of like a 90s, like a grunge kid. I was much more of like a skate rat, kind of Jane's Addiction, gothic-y kind of kid than anything. But I never... Like, I knew punk rockers. Like, I went to an alternative school. I didn't go to regular high school. They locked the door behind you where I went. So, like, I knew punk rockers, and I knew real skinheads and, real everythings. And I was never any of those things, but I knew people in all those different sort of groups. So when I got into the Misfits, I needed a crash course on punk rock because... Again, I knew punk rock kids, and they were like older people that were in college at this point, and they're like the Misfits. Like, all right, you have to sit down, and we have to talk to you because then it got real, and then I started to like, oh shit, there was this, and I grew up 12 miles from New York City, so I knew that there was a whole punk rock world happening that I was just too young to really get to, into. My brother was kind of into it. So I got the lowdown, and it was at the end of what real punk rock is, and hardcore was really taking over what punk rock was, because both movements are urban. Hardcore is urban. Oh, yeah. Punk rock was urban, out of Detroit, out of New York, obviously in Europe too, out of an urban setting. But I was brought up through, like, once I got into the Misfits, it was classified as punk because of the original band. But I agree with y'all that when you listen to the Misfits music, it's like, this isn't punk rock. This is much more
It's just
metal.
it's it
than
is,
everything
but
else.
yeah,
Like,
but it's
you all sound
different.
like,
But then
yeah, it
when you
sounds like
did
it's
it, but when you're in there, it was just because when you sing, you had on the choruses, you open up.
yeah,
You
right,
show
right.
you're
Like a
like,
pop
hey,
song.
yeah, you're like, I'm not fucking around. I got a voice. I'm not just farting into the mic. But
Like
and
a
then
pop
but
song.
when you get into the fast or when it starts picking up, you're still able to carry that
Sure.
vibe
You
through.
know,
So it's just different. It's different. That's
we
why it's night
Doyle
and
and I
day.
were listening to, Jerry too. Like we were listening to a lot of Iron Maiden. We loved listening to Van Halen. I was constantly playing, like 90s bands
Oh yeah.
for those guys, and Doyle hated it. Like I would play him Marilyn Manson back in the day, and he'd be like, I hate this. But like together, like we would listen to, like I said, a lot of Iron Maiden, a lot of Van Halen. We would rock out on the Doors and listen to the Doors all the
Fuck yeah,
time.
Morrison, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
all the bands that I would listen to growing up. That's, I wasn't always punk, for me either. It was Rush, and I just thought three guys can make that much fucking noise on stage. This weirdo with the big ass nose is slapping the shit out of the bass, and he's playing a piano on the side. It was fucking nuts. But
Yeah.
then then I discovered the Misfits,
Yeah.
and then it changed.
And it was perfect too because Jerry and Doyle were coming off of a band called Christ the Conqueror, and it had some really great people that contributed to that record that they released. And it was very metal. It was very Iron Maiden-y. So when I came into the mix, the songs that I brought, like Dig Up Her Bones, obviously are one way that they're very, hard driving.
Yeah.
And they have those big choruses. But it was perfect the way that those guys wrote. Take a song like Shining, for example, or Pumpkinhead, where you would have this real metal sort of, like the nature of it is real metal, but then like I would take it and I would kind of pull it back towards a more pop sort of rock,
but
like
it still had
like
that
Bad
punk
Religion
undertone,
would
though.
do.
Oh yeah, Bad Religion. Yeah, that dude's and he gets a lot of hate, and I think it's just because he's so fucking educated. People don't understand his words. They're like, "What the fuck?" They need to get out a dictionary to understand his songs, dude.
Right.
I think that's what you know. And
yeah, it's true.
But going
It's
from
true.
Dig Up Her Bones to Best of Me, what the fuck? What a jump, dude.
Yeah.
What it was it just the emotional time in your life that led to the these tunes? Because when you listen to them, when you really do, you're like, holy fucking shit. And if you throw the ear condoms on and you crank up the volume, it sounds great. So what the fuck? How did that lead into that?
Songs are strange. Those two songs, Dig Up Her Bones I wrote when I was 16. So you do the math, I'll be 50
before
next
the
week.
Misfits, you wrote that shit.
Yes,
wow,
yeah. Dig Up Her Bones
okay.
was before it was Dig Up Her Bones, it was point me to the sky above. I can get there, I'm on. Point me through the graveyard. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. And Doyle and I were like, we're the Misfits. We have to, we have to think
dig
of
up some
spooky.
fucking bones, Michael.
Yeah, so
that's what
like,
we gotta do, bro.
Let's see. I'm coming home. Dig up her bones. I'm coming home. Dig up her bones. That works.
It's perfect, dude. It fits.
Is that people are like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know what it means. I know what it
just
feels
let it tickle
like.
your ears, you fucker, and dance. That's what it feels like, And just enjoy
Right.
yourself.
It's like it's like a spell, you say those words, you sing those words, and it does something. I don't know. It might make you feel a certain way.
I wrote a tune literally based off of your tune. This, it's called Robert Grave. It's a totally different style, but it was literally written off of your song, and I wrote that.
Well, that's how it goes.
Yep, I wrote that forever ago. So
that's how it goes.
But I don't know, man. I just
songs just show up. Sometimes the heavy hitters like Dig Up Her Bones or Best of Me show up at certain times. You just
the whole fucking Famous Monsters album. You don't have to be bashful, dude. It'll give somebody fucking kidney stones if they listen to that shit. They're gonna be.
That's a great record.
It's a great fucking record. But when looking beyond that, you still got fucking talent, man. And where do you see your musical career going from here, man? Where do you see Michael? Let's say 7 years from now.
I'm really starting to get more interested in film, in making videos, and I'm getting closer to. Everything takes a little bit longer in Michael Graves' world. The gravity is heavier on my planet, but I'm making steps to getting into acting again, a little bit of acting.
Oh, cool.
I've always had this thing with puppets. So
Yeah,
I'm starting to
okay.
get into the puppetry thing again, starting to design some stuff and talk to some people
Okay,
that
hell
I
yeah.
know that are interested in that sort of thing too. Like Jim Henson, I'm just fucking fascinated by the world of Henson. Yeah, film and video. I've been working on new music. I'm dying to make a video. One of the things that is both, I guess, to the detriment of me, but I guess it's awesome too. Like sometimes I'll write a song and I'll record it like 8 different ways,
Oh, okay.
like an interpretation. Like, oh, I could kind of play it, with the banjo behind it,
Oh, all right.
and these different things. And then I'm like, wait a second, I could just change the time signature a little bit, and I could play it like rock it out.
Yeah.
So like, and it hasn't always been that way. I've been doing that for like the past 2 years. I'll record a song like 7 different fucking
Damn,
ways.
you got some fucking patience, dude. I'm like a one take Jake, dude. Me and Dustin, dude. I'm like, yeah, no, we'll do it twice, and you can work with it.
I love, for me as like I love being in the studio. Like behind me here, I do some of my work, and like I love being in the lab. As I get older, I'm gonna start to get into more like producing, engineering, and when I talk about film as well, I'm really studying to learn how to be behind a camera. Like I really want to do directing
It's an
and
art,
writing.
yeah. It's different, and it's a different. Well,
Yeah.
you could do it. You could do it on stage, man. You could do it fucking behind a camera, right?
Yeah. It's I one of the things that I have to do is understand. Like I know how the music production works. Like I can. Obviously, I have directed
Follow it, yeah.
really big productions.
Yeah.
Like I get that. I know how to do that. I know where everybody's supposed to be in it. But film, I don't know all the departments. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like what different people are supposed to do. So as a director, I would have some blind spots. So
You should do a little
before I
homework.
really jump into like a real project, I still have some learning to do. So
Everybody.
I have a
fucking
good
does.
friend who's taking me along and
Go
and
fucking jump
teaching me
into
the
that
ropes.
shit, dude. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be cool as hell to see you behind a cam. To fucking go for that, man. That's a
Yeah.
totally different vibe. That's
Yeah.
kind. I didn't expect that from you at all.
Yeah, and as well, before the pandemic, I had a couple of projects that I was working on with film and scoring film, and then everybody lost their nut once the pandemic hit. A lot of projects just dried up and kind of went away. But some of those projects for me were like scoring, like film scoring and
yeah.
writing and doing Foley, like audio behind. Like I love recording stuff like that.
Again,
Whether
the
it's just like
patience.
footsteps in the hallway, right, or
Yeah.
like full on.
Just like the sound effects that go with it
Yeah.
and things like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, who's your favorite feature film director?
Oh man.
That came from Sangria Furlow.
Quentin Tarantino's pretty awesome, man. I love.
Fucking love Tarantino, dude.
Yeah,
But then you have Romero.
Romero's a great filmmaker, certainly. I love Quentin Tarantino because he's the way that he talks about film is amazing. Kubrick too. Like I'm really into Kubrick because I think both Tarantino and a filmmaker like Kubrick, the way that they use, I mean, obviously, they bury things. Just the way that they visualize stuff.
You actually have to watch to catch it.
And the way that there's, I mean, obviously their style, the way that they photograph things, the incredible storytelling that takes place. Like think of Reservoir Dogs. It's such a simple story, but man,
but it'll get your fucking attention.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, that's incredible.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, they're so I guess that's a fucking hard question.
That is a difficult question because I'll tell you what. Like, I look to Rob Zombie's Halloween. Like when he remade Halloween, the first one.
Oh yeah,
it's total inspiration. Ooh. Like, so great. Like, so the best Halloween.
I remember seeing the faces of people in the movie theater. Like,
what a great
movie.
Like
the Terrifier. That's a. I don't know how you feel about that. That's the newer ones. It's already becoming a cult classic. But that's it's like overkill, like really gory. Yeah. But yeah, those are fucking catching on. Someone what's your favorite song to cover?
I've loved doing War Pigs by Black Sabbath.
No shit. See, I didn't even know that. See, Ozzy? Yep, Punk.
Yeah, my voice is when you listen to my voice, my voice is very similar to Ozzy's, like, timbre.
Yeah.
And like the same sort of I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but if you took like Ozzy Osbourne, Simon Le Bon, and Bono from U2 and kind of like mushed it all together and maybe sprinkled like a little Johnny Rotten, it would be me.
There it is. Yeah, that's not fucking crazy at all, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's wild, Mike. Thank you so much for, sitting down with me tonight, man. You guys, if you're tuning in to recap, not a Nazi. He is not racist. He's not misogynistic. He's not transphobic. He has no problem sharing the fucking stage with anybody from any gender or race. He doesn't.
Before we go, I've never told this story before.
Yeah, go for it, brother.
I had the opportunity when I was in Poland years ago to visit Auschwitz and Birkenau. And I'm a very, very sensitive person. I'm been blessed by God. If I honed my powers, I think I could be a medium. I'm just not able to hear the way that like when you talk to mediums and channels, they're actually able to hear. It's crazy.
It's different.
I can't hear. To me, it's a very muffled thing. So like when I do hear, it's almost like I hear underwater. So I can't hear very clearly.
Gotcha.
You could clear that up with practice, but whatever. I don't want to.
It's just a lot of practice.
Some people do.
Man.
Some people do. So I had the opportunity to go there. Now, ever since I was very young, been fascinated again by the psychology. Like, how could something like that happen? How can people fall under that spell and a whole nation, do that to somebody? Like, how? Right? Every book, I've just everything I can get my hands on, I've immersed myself in. Since I was young, I remember my neighbor. Had a number on her arm, and her husband too, and I remember asking like my mom, like, why does she have a tattoo? And my mom explained to me, as you explain to a child, and it blew my mind, right? So there I am at this death camp, and I went in backwards. And what I mean by that is, like, I started out sort of backwards towards like where a lot of the residents where the camps were, not the residents, where the fucking housing
I get what you're saying. Yeah, where they
so I made my way around to where the actual gas chambers were, and then and they're still there. Like, they're knocked down.
Yep.
Like, you could see all that. You could see all of where the housing is, and it works into all. And you could see where the gas chambers were, and then you get to the beginning. Right. So all of this is on me, and it's dead quiet. There's not even fucking birds singing. That's real when you go there. Like, the birds don't even sing.
Ugh, just a dead zone, man.
And I had wandered away from the people that I was with. And I just wanted to be by myself and just kind of.
Were you a kiddo?
No. This was a couple of years ago. This was maybe 5 years ago.
Okay, I was
6 years ago.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
so
took
it's so fucking there.
all the guys that were in the band, like as a team, like we all went to these places. So, some of the guys like went in, some of the guys didn't. So I got to the spot where they bring the people in and they start to process them. And you get to the part, and they have the piles of shoes, and they got the piles of hair, and they got all the
Fucking
glasses
eerie, dude.
and the wallets. Yes, very strange.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at that, and it's just very. It is. It's very, very strange.
It doesn't hit you like right away, and then you're like, wait.
Because it hits you. Yeah.
Oh,
There's all those people.
Mm-hmm.
That's real. But where I came apart, and when I say I came apart, I literally came apart and needed help to leave the place, was there was a room off of that where you walked in, and the curators had assembled this room from all the pictures that were taken from people, and they were just, you walked around this room just full of pictures. And there was nothing strange about it. You know what I'm saying? Like the pictures were just people outside, kids on their tricycle. It was just normal.
Oh,
that's it was normal. And it was so, from what was happening, and so your brain starts to put that all together, and it's just, it was absolutely crushing how large scale the hate and the dehumanization was, where there was just
gross,
just awful.
Yeah.
Just nothing but sadness and pain and like
I feel like that's where people
that
get
all at once.
Yeah, and that's where, and that tests your faith. Like, as far as like, I mean, I don't mean like literally test your faith as far as believe in God, but I mean, did it kind of make you wonder, like, why the fuck did he? Why are people like this?
Because I'm a Christian, and I understand that our fundamental nature as humans is that brokenness, and without God,
sin.
They say the truth will set you free. And it's true. The truth sets you free, because when we cling on to God, then we naturally will then cling on to light and good things, and we'll cling on to each other, and we'll see the humanity in one another. When we start to get away from those things, and we get away from God, and we don't have these conversations, and we don't interface and interact with one another, and we start to dehumanize one another, then that leads to Auschwitz and Birkenau and all these terrible things.
Well, if people would shut the fuck up for 5 minutes and just listen to the other person's point of view, you don't have to agree with everybody, right? You don't, but you can at least sit there and listen to their point of view as respectfully.
Most people do. One of the things that I continue to devote my life to, which I have, again, behind the scenes, things that I do that I don't talk about or
parade around in the fucking world.
Yeah. It's just is mental health and trauma, and the way that traumatic events, whether that's from war, whether that's sexual abuse, whether that's violence, whether it's substance, whatever that is, and I've seen it, in early stages of life, and just recently seeing the manifestations of kept trauma and unchecked trauma, what it does in the senior communities. It's our people, all of us in this nation. There's a mental health crisis in this country,
exactly.
And so it's very, very important, again, to pay particular attention to phenomenon that you see pointed at me, and other things. Again, when you look at some of these individuals and.
So if you were in my shoes, man, what would you, if the roles are reversed, you were not, you're in my shoes, you don't even know who Enrique Terry and all these guys are, just what the masses are saying, and then what you've said to me now. What would you do?
I think that what you have been doing and what we're doing here is what cures it, is having conversations with one another. And giving other people the opportunity to listen to these conversations and to take part in these conversations. One of the things that, as well, I think that, going into the future, some of the promoters could do, and I would love to work on as well, is starting to have not like town hall meetings, but before I play some of these places, sitting down and having I do it at the acoustic shows. I do it at the acoustic shows. Sometimes, if there's just one opener, I'll play for like 2 hours. And you could come and ask. I'm sitting right there, and people ask me questions about, just like you're doing. They ask me about the Misfits. They ask me about certain songs that I write. But they also ask me about some of these things, and it sort of turns into, a sort of town hall type thing. So the only way through this is to talk to one another.
But to these people, though, bro, they're not talking, man. They don't talk. They just, it is insane. It's like I would have a better conversation with my fucking drywall, because there's no receptiveness. They're already saying they're gonna boycott me, all this stuff, and it's like you're boycotting because of a man's, because I didn't hire you as a politician, man. I hired you as a musician, and I know you're not gonna go up there and fucking start a political campaign and start spewing hate. You're gonna go up there and you're gonna do your thing. You're gonna perform. You're gonna play your music, and you're gonna do you. But separating that, man, it's a hard line, and I'm really trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how to.
There are some people that certainly are like yourself that want to and are trying to gain understanding of this whole situation, starting with, all right, let me at least, start with talking to Michael, and at least, as well, talking to Michael's representation at this point, which is only one guy. When you talk to John DeMonte, my agent, and then, so you get a feel for him, and then you get a feel for me, and you go, wait a second, there might be something else going on. Like, I'm talking to these people, and they're really nice. They're really nice people. And so, there's some people that it doesn't matter what you say, they're not going to change their minds. That's the world that we live in, unfortunately. People have to make a decision. I understand. I'm not, when I post stuff, on my Twitter, it's the only place I can post anything. I'm not trying to, cause trouble with any of the
I know you're not
right? I'm not trying to cause any sort of trouble. It's more of, I want people who are trying to understand to see the reality of it, because it really is. It's a small group of people, and they're making a big stink out of, little old me. Like, I get it. I'm a powerful person in the way that I deliver my music and my message. And, again, I'm a very, very loving person. And I wish that I had wings big enough to put over everybody to protect them from all the bad things in the world. That's really my mantra.
But God's going to be the only judge.
That comes off of me. And that's what my nature is. It always has been. I mean, you want to talk about violent things. Listen, I come from one of the most violent bands in America, like the Misfits, when we started playing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you want to talk about stories of violence. I could give you stories of violence.
Kick somebody in the fucking head. But it's
that some of it had actual white supremacist Nazis involved in it. That, were not my friends or the friends of the,
what type of crowd do you think you'll bring to this? Is not my question. This is a question from the chat, because now, everyone's asking a mixture of questions, because now they're seeing a little bit of a different side of Michael tonight, and so now they're asking, as far as people showing up to the show, who do you think will show up? What kind of crowd will it attract?
It's awesome, because whether it's in America or it's overseas, the type of crowd, you get the older guys like me that show up that love the Misfits, but the crowd that shows up, there's a lot of younger people. that love American Psycho. They love Famous Monsters. Some of them, they found it, just recently in the past couple of years. And they just want to come and sing and dance and just vibe out on that music. That's it.
Right.
Like, that's it. Some people they like to come and paint their face up. Some people, it reminds them of high school or whatever, and they just want to come and have a good time and listen to that music. Like, that's all it is. It's just
they just want to vibe, man. They just want to see the old school, see Graves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can answer your question. He said, Michael, some people will not change their minds. He said, just stop hesitating when people ask if you're racist. You're going to get these questions. Be ready for them and answer confidently. And if you want to actually start owning the narrative, I think that's a pretty. I'm not trying to speak for you, man, but he's been getting the same question for the past fucking
2 decades.
Yeah,
it's been
20
2
years.
decades.
20 years.
And,
so
yeah, a lot of people are seeing this as well, just through the lens of Twitter.
Maybe they weren't even alive when your music was a thing.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's through the lens of Twitter, and it might look a little bit out of control, I guess, on Twitter. I don't look at too many of the comments. I screen through the comments, but like, if you say something stupid offhand, you just get blocked. Like, I don't have time.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit there and litigate shit.
Right.
So, as far as the narrative is concerned, I got to stay in my own lane. Like I said, we've been talking here for over an hour. If we were really going to do a deep dive on,
it'd be like 4
some
hours,
of the things
man.
that you were saying, and January 6th, bro, we would be here for a long, long time, because there's a lot of different things that have happened that you have to talk about for a total understanding of what we are. That's why this is a thinking man's game at this point.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of information, and it's true. It's not just an Alex Jones thing, information war. You were in the military, so you understand psychological operations. You understand signals intelligence, and you understand these things that they're real, and so we're in this information war.
Yep.
And there's so much of it. It really is hard to understand, but that's the point, right? They talk about the fog of war. There's a lot of fog of war going on.
What if you I'm not trying to tell you what to do, man, but so, like, when people look at your Twitter, like, what would your, because you haven't technically said yes, I'm a Proud Boy. You said you have had friends in there, are you, yes?
Well, yeah,
no?
I'm a proud.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
I'm a Proud Boy.
So So leading into that next question, if you were to post like a gay pride flag on your Twitter, and say, like, hey, my next show, I want to invite everybody from every community to come hang out with me. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be playing Graves tunes. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Would that be perceived, like, would you get a message like, hey,
yes.
nobody, don't take it down, Yeah.
So, that would totally be, and I would get accused of pandering, and that is kind of pandering, because I don't have to put up a gay flag, because
no, you don't. No,
like, if you're gay, you can come to my show. I love you. That's cool.
Camera,
bring your boyfriend, or if you're a girl and you're gay, bring your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I've played. It's all come as you are. Come as you are. If you're two women and one of you want to dress up like a man when you come out to the mic, hey, man, that's
it's
cool.
Just,
I dress up like a skeleton. What?
Correct me if I'm wrong, man. I feel like so, you're a Proud Boy, but I also feel like you don't believe in every single belief that they believe in. I don't know, I said believe a lot, but that they some of them act, because again, subgroups, and I'm saying that aside, the overall
you just
beliefs
have to be
in
a
it,
man to be in the group,
right? But of the overall
and you can't
beliefs,
love like if you love, let's say you love Pol Pot. Like, you can't, maybe you can't be in any group.
You have to be like right, you have to be more on the right
if you
side,
love Hitler,
you're right,
and you're like, yeah, I love what Ye's doing. Hitler's awesome. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. I wouldn't hang out with you whether you were in the Proud Boys or not. You would suck, and I wouldn't hang out with you. I would think that you're a douchebag.
Well, Kyle Chapman, that's the one that he's a dope. Because he ran around, and then McGinnis even said, no, 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 he's not a charter fucking, all this things. He's not, no,
Yeah, it
he's
doesn't
not.
matter.
It's
Yeah,
just,
look, it doesn't
it's
matter
just
if you're a
idiots in the
Proud Boy or
subgroups,
it doesn't matter if you're a Proud Boy or a Cub Scout or a Brownie or anything. If you're running around saying stupid stuff, racist, misogynistic, if you're saying stupid stuff, then you just suck. It doesn't matter what you are or where you are. It just sucks.
And it's all
and
racist
all of the
in
people
there.
that I know,
and it's not just it's not
all
just
of the
white
people
guys
that I
either.
know, if they started shouting racist stuff,
you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, there would be a problem.
Yeah.
There would be a problem. I know some boisterous dudes. Certainly, that would
we
make
all do,
some
man.
other people uncomfortable. But as far as institutionalized racism or something, that's just not it. Man.
I knew you
into
were
it.
like that, man. From the beginning. It's just it is, but like I said, just the way it's tied together, man. What everybody says about him, and the facts. If you could point me in a page, man. If you could point me in a page and say, hey, get your information. What page would that be? Like, what page would you direct people to say, hey, listen to this page because this is actually what's happening, instead of
I think that if you go
pages.
to Enrique Tarrio's X account, I think it's Noble Patriot, I think. And if you go to Joe Biggs's X account, if you go to Jake Lang, I think J6 Truth is off. You can find different links off of those websites that will then lead you to people like John Solomon, for example, has done some great reporting. I think not Julie Kelly. Yeah, it might be Julie Kelly's done some great J6 reporting. So there's a lot of other links that you can find that has information from people doing alternative reporting, that have made documentaries, that have gone through the footage. Cara Castronova, for example. Cara Castronova has done incredible reporting and interviews. Jim Hoft, Joe Hoft, Gateway Pundit. So there's a lot of places to go that will give you an alternative narrative. And what I mean by that is people that have gone through the footage, the J6 footage, as well as talk to people that were there. Jake Lang, for example, Joe, Enrique. And you can start to get some of the other points of view, and you can get more information to say, oh, wait a second, all right.
People twisted your tweet so crazy with that, man. Because you're like, I knew the plan. I was there. It's time for, America to get back to where, back basically normalcy is what your tweet said. I don't know when you posted, it was long ago. I can't find it. I'm not going to digging through your fucking shit. But, it's, and it was that, and I was like, oh, okay. And that was when they, people are twisting and turning. But why no chicks in the group?
Because it's a boys' club.
That's it. Like but you're not above ladies or anything. It's just it's just all dudes.
No, it's like
it's not like the women haters club, like from Little Rat.
No, I used to be. Have you ever heard of like the Moose Lodge?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was a moose for a little while.
All right.
So, and that's a male fraternity.
Yeah.
No girls allowed. So that was it. You just had to.
I mean, to be honest, was McGinnis a little? Was he a? I don't want to say like, because when I looked at him, when I pictured McGinnis, because I didn't see a picture of him, I was like, this dude's a big fucking Irishman. He's a fucking he's like a Terminator. I pictured him like a Arnold Schwarzenegger Irish guy, and then I see him, I'm like, wait, he's not that.
Scottish.
It's Scottish. I'm like, he's not that. McGinnis, sorry, but this that last sorry. But that's just who I pictured. I was like, and I'm like, wait, he doesn't look like that at all. He just looks like a normal dude. He's just a normal dude.
Yes, dude.
Yeah. So
I don't know. High intelligence. He's smart.
I'll
very
give him,
funny.
Yeah,
I wish I had like when you like Gavin, like Anthony Cumia, other guys like their wit. You know what I mean? Like they could be funny like so easily.
Yeah,
I wish I could. Well,
that's just a nature of just only certain people can do that, man.
I can't do that.
And unfortunately, half of them aren't even with us anymore. But the another question from here is Yeah, it's all races. I believe, right? Because your Enrique Tarrio's Afro-Cuban.
He's Cuban.
Yeah, yeah. So, but can black people join?
Of course.
Okay, Mexican people, anybody,
Sure.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. Okay, there's that question.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah, one of the dumbasses whose big idea it was for me to get involved in this shit and join was a big Mexican. A big motorcycle driving Mexican.
There you go. And this guy says they're classified. This is the Canada thing.
Yeah.
And they said, border authorities can deny entry to anyone associated with this organization. How do you manage to cross the Canadian border to do any shows? Or to even get into Canada?
I haven't been up there. You just gotta keep it low and hope nobody starts to, start doing the Google thing. Right.
Yeah,
it sucks because again, I come in peace. I don't have a criminal record.
Oh yeah, man. It's you're
sucks.
not going up there to start violence. You're going up there to fucking play, man. And you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You'll rock it, man. But it's just, yeah.
I'm a very peaceful dude.
Yeah, and I think people are starting to realize that it's just the group that they're having a problem with, again, This is America, and everybody has their own belief system and their own beliefs. That's why America is so great. That's why it's an amazing fucking place to live. Oppression, well, Mike, I don't think that people have seen real oppression. The people that say, you're stepping on their toes, I never. Did you go piss in their Cheerios personally? Did you fucking go out there and say, you're a piece of fucking shit, I hate you? No, you never did. So,
listen, there's a lot of things that are broken. I'm with you guys. I'm with the people that are really pissed off still that there's things that are broken. There's things that we can unite around. Everybody, we can be pissed off and work towards good things together. There's some things that are not necessarily out of our reach, but think about all the homeless people. Think about all the drug addicted people. Again, think about let's not, because those again are more difficult, complex cases to handle. Let's just start with the loneliness epidemic. Before the pandemic, 40 to 60% of people worldwide answered the question, do you have a meaningful relationship in your life with anybody? They answered it no. So there's this terrible, terrible loneliness epidemic that has to do with the psychology that's behind some of the things that we're talking about here.
But why
that actually can only take hold because of this loneliness. But even just the loneliness crisis, we can all do something, that helps.
Has the Proud Boys, do they donate to any charity organizations, or do they
Of course you do. Of course they do. A lot of these guys, not a lot of them, but of course some of them
What's one big one that
are police officers. Some of these guys are. A lot of these guys are ex-military. Some of them are plumbers. Some of them are, pastors.
Yeah. It's all across the board.
Well, there's a lot of things. Some of these guys, they love hunting. So there's instances where these guys, they go out, they go hunting, they shoot a deer, they shoot some turkey. It was the example that I'm using. It was deer. And they go and they process the deer meat and they bring it and they feed the soup kitchen people with all this beautiful deer stuff. I also know troops of Proud Boys that have shown up at soup kitchens as well, just to hand stuff out and to feed people and to just sit with people.
Well, why the fuck don't I see that on your Twitter? I want to see that picture, dude. That'd be fucking killer.
Down in Florida, they do, I don't know how many times, I think they do it once or maybe twice a year. They do bike drives for young kids that don't have money to have, buy bicycles. So they get them bicycles.
Just the less fortunate. Yeah, that's
as
cool.
well. When I know that the Toys for Tots program has expanded to an all year round thing, but around Christmas time, I know specifically guys out west and guys down south that work and do toy drives, gather stuff for Toys for Tots separately from other toys. So there's lots of things. But again, I'm not going to say,
I have to dig, bro. Oh my God, it's so much fucking homework.
You know, that there's a lot of stuff like that you know that happens, and that's the truth.
Well, it's because
And
the idiots that are part of the Proud Boys. There's idiots in there, man. Fucking
there's
A.
idiots everywhere.
They
Think
need to
about where
bitch
you
slap
work.
them,
Like,
dude. Fuck.
think about where you work. I mean, even
think
in,
about the army. Holy fucking shit.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, think about military service. Think about anything that we do. There's always people that are, you know, some more shitty than other people, but there's always those people out there. A lot of the times, people that are doing good things or doing things that should be and usually are applauded are doing them not to be applauded or being put out there. And
Yeah.
you know, they're happening because most people are good. Like, everyday people
Just gotta give them
out
a chance.
there.
But it's so much of
most
other
of us
people
are good.
that are just,
Sure,
doing that.
the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. But there's a lot of good people out there, no matter who you are, what you are, and there's a lot of guys that are part of the Proud Boy community.
Yeah.
And they're good. They're good people. They're the people that, God forbid, your house is on fire, they are running inside to help.
Fucking A. Can I see more of that on your Twitter then? If you're gonna fucking push them, gosh damn it. Let's see the good pictures,
I'm
man.
not pushing. I push Enrique, you know, when Enrique's got something that he needs, and especially Joe. Joe is a good guy. He's a decorated veteran, you know, 2 Purple Hearts. He shot a lot of terrorists with a grin on his face. Thank you for, you know, people
you know,
like
painting
him.
Like that, people forget that, that's
he
the people that
country,
fight.
He served his country honorably, and they took away, you know, not only Joe, but other guys too, you know. So,
yeah.
But
Man.
you know, I don't sit there and I don't want to put Proud Boy stuff in people's face. I don't want to put any of this stuff in people's face. I want to put the stuff that I'm working on. Music, art, videos, films.
I don't know if somehow you could separate that, man. I know what you're dealing with. Now I know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, well, once all the cancel stuff calms down, and you know, I'm working on a lot of other stuff. And
I mean, see why I got snippy about the band stuff? Because these bands are getting a lot of hate, and people are trying to boycott me now. But you know, what's your message to them, man? You know, because they've been hanging in there. They don't even know why. You know, they only agreed to be, you know, like to defend you because me. You know, because I was like, you guys, Andrew, just don't respond with hate. Just don't do it. So what would be your message to those 30-plus bands that are on the roster?
A great man once said, walk towards the fire and don't ever worry about what they call you. You know, walk through the fire and don't ever worry about what they call you. Look, the only way through this, the only way through any of this type of thing that we're facing is to walk through the fire and not worry about what people are calling us. Because if you understand what the truth is, you know, then what are you going to do every time somebody says something about cancel? You know, someone's uncomfortable. Were you going to shut down the whole production?
Because that fucks it for everybody else.
If it gets to a point where, and I certainly understand, I'm a businessman.
Oh yeah,
I have, you know, I've worked in large situations under people. I understand how it goes. That it gets to a point, though, if it's going to sink the whole ship, perhaps then you have to make executive decisions about what's happening. But you know, if you just get a small group of people and they're making a big stink about white supremacists and Nazis, like, all right, well, I'll tell you what, whatever I'm supposed to get, you know, nothing that you do is going to make those type of people happy. And so the best thing to do is just to contain it for the people. If there's promoters or people that have money on the line, to say, listen, you know me, I have integrity. I would not jeopardize this venture together. It's all good. It's going to be a great event. We are focused on music. We're focused on music. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care if you wear a dress
it's not
or
for,
not.
Yeah, it's not about politics.
Rock out.
Louis Tivy is one of the bands coming all the way from the UK, brother. His
Dude,
question,
did you see that?
Yeah, his question for you is, with how the political pendulum swings left to right and vice versa every fucking 4 years, how do we come together as people and realize we're all manipulated and unite as one to not, How do we figure it out?
The way that we used to. We go to church. And when I mean church, we rock.
Right.
We show up at these shows and we rock out, and you turn to your right and there's some leftist over there. You turn to this guy, he's an anarchist.
Yeah.
The guy behind you, he's wearing a dress and he's, he looks like he's in the New York Dolls. And everyone's just rocking out. Maybe it's just a normal guy like me looking with the hat and, I don't know, he works at the DPW. He's here too. There's everybody here. And everyone's just rocking out.
And I told
how
them
you break down the walls.
Yeah, and Mike, I told a very upset one. I said, I will give you a fucking tent. I will give you a fucking bullhorn, and you can say all your views, and then you can leave before Michael Graves goes on stage. And then the response, "Fuck you, Nazi Proud Boy." That was it.
That's what I'm saying. He's just not gonna.
It's not.
Some people.
Yeah.
Some people you're just never gonna reach.
But you handle it well though. But all right, man. I took up way too much of your fucking time. But I appreciate you shedding some light on the situation as a whole. I think that people, just do a little bit more homework. I did mine. I mean, I really couldn't find anything that tied Michael to Nazis or racism or anything like that. The Proud Boys, it's as a neo-Nazi, neo-fascist, all these different things. But I just do a little bit of dig deeper. That's it. As far as the punk in the corn and stuff, man, why do you want to play still? Especially after I kind of just got I played with your balls a little bit there earlier and got you fired up. Why do you want to play punk in the corn?
I know how much you and me and all the people that would come to hear the music that I would play, American Psycho, Famous Monsters, and the other stuff that I play, the Michael Graves music. I know how much people love those songs. I love those songs. I know, like I said, I know what it does, and to have that opportunity to hear those songs and to play them, and that's what I live to do. That's what I live to do. I love flying the flag of the Misfits. I love talking about the band. I love playing those songs. I love playing music. I love it all. I love it all. And I love interacting with the people that come out. I love being a part of other artists and the productions. That's my thing, man. That's what makes me tick.
Yeah, man.
That's why I would want to be a part of it. This other stuff, it makes things a little bit rusty, but there's a way that, through this, we're reaching people, and I know that the positive message that's coming from this, to be yourself,
right?
That we're championing individuality. Like, I want you. I want you to be yourself, just like I tell my children. Like, I want you to be yourself.
You shouldn't have to change because somebody else is trying to change you, man.
Of course not. Of course not. And you should never apologize for something that you don't need to apologize for. You should be as transparent as you possibly can, and articulate,
music, dude,
and have integrity. And
the integrity's big.
The things that are coming out of your mouth are backed up by your actions, and that's why. Again, I've said it to you. I've said it a lot, and I say the same thing. I have been investigated up one side, down the other.
Absolutely,
not just by people like you, but by other investigative branches.
Of
our government. And for people that don't think, I've had like real jobs that require a background check just a couple of months ago, and I passed. I'm good to go. So I'm unreproachable, and that doesn't mean that I can't tell you stories of me doing stupid stuff.
We've all done stupid shit,
but I live my life to be the way it is, and that it means I'm unreproachable.
Q-Bar show good? Your Q-Bar show? How'd that go? Did that go good?
What's that?
Your Q-Bar show out there in Darien.
Oh, God, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was such a great show. Good. Yeah. The opener couldn't make it, had some car trouble, so I played like 2.5 hours. It was awesome. I did a bunch of talking too, but it was, oh man, it was great. It was a good time.
Man. Good. All right, brother. Well, you know what? Stay blessed, Michael. Thank you so much again for your time. We'll be talking soon, my man. But hang in
Yeah,
there. But yeah, again, thanks
Thank
for
you
your
for
time.
the
man.
time.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Have a great night. Okay.
All right, God bless you all.
God bless you. Bye. All right. Michael Graves, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Let me know as far as after this whole conversation, after everything is said and done, I want you to let me know what you think. Go ahead and reach out, comment, like, share, do whatever you got to do, man. But in the end, the Proud Boys is they are pictured as a violent organization. And Michael, we all know what type of character he is. He doesn't seem, bad. And he's not. He's not. He just explained himself and everything in a very normal way. But the organization is viewed in a terrible way. But it's going to be a very hard decision. But, hopefully you guys have gotten a little bit of closure with how this whole thing is, erupting. Boycotting, I don't know. It's we did a little skim on some of the people that are doing all the hatred, and you'd be very surprised what you find in the backgrounds of those individuals. So I don't know. It's I can only cover so much in the interview. I wish I could ask him every single question, that we all want to know, but I had to touch base on the big ones that I've been, that people have been calling me and calling him. So I feel that we got to the facts, we got underneath his skin. I mean, he got fired up, so that means we got him somewhere. And whether it's an angry response or not, he did very well underneath the pressure. He answered everything that we wanted to know. But this is Michael's word against all this other stuff. So, but thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in tonight. I love you all. We will see you next week. For me and Andy Fraz, we're going to be fucking rocking it with Green Jello. And not only that, Freaky and the Brain, baby, are back in action. My beautiful wife is going to be rocking some Sims. I'm going to be sitting here and doing, freaky shit and hanging out. But anyways, you guys have a very safe rest of your weekend. I love you all. Stay blessed. Stay judgment free. And we'll see you next time, all right? All right, so you guys, again, stay safe. And, you know what? Stay what? Stay judgment free. That's it, baby. That's it. All right. You guys have a good one. I love you all. All right, rock and roll, baby.